dug out some old metal commandos. I'm one short of a 10-man squad, so somebody's going to get kit bashed to blend in with these guys. Cats here, so I can definitely start. What do you think? So I've got a selection of bits, got my tools, crappy pair of clippers, and a really nice sharp Tamiya set. Use the crappy set to chop away, use the good set to get in nice and close. I've got a similar setup with my knives. One sharp blade, one blunt blade. When I replace the blunt one with a new fresh blade, I just remember which handle is which. Swap them over when I need to. Right, so I've got a selection of bits out in front of me. Quite fancy building a Sten gun, a little submachine gun with a curved magazine coming out the side. So I've chopped bits of the gun for that purpose. With that in mind, I've picked a pair of legs that I think will do the job. Obviously with the advice of my little fluffy advisor. Just sanding the feet here, give them a little rub, get the worst of that off so that they got a chance of sticking to the base. Scratching up the base with the blunt knife. Put that foot there, make a mark, scratch under the other foot. Get again rid of the worst of it. Tiny blob of glue. Putting the glue on the feet by rubbing it on that little puddle of glue. Let it dry a bit. I'm blowing on it here. Stick it on there. I've got the sun on my back through the windows, so it's going off quite quickly. And I can feel it getting tacky. As soon as I feel it getting a bite, I'll pop it down. Closing the lid just because, again, like I say, it's quite warm in that room today. Just going to tidy up the body, just getting the last little bits of sprue away. Scratchy on the torso. Little rub with a sandpaper, again just to give the glue a key. Scratching the traps, what do you call those traps, those muscles? Quite pronounced seam line that runs along the body of that orc. So I'm just getting at it now while I can, while I've got access to everything. Getting those lines away. Again with the blunter of the two knives. Sharp enough. When it rolls off the table, it stabs you in the foot. Yeah, I've done that to stab you up, but blunt enough to not cause too much damage. Getting rid of the last of that, over-egging it. Scratching away at the flat pieces where the arms attach, just again to give any glue or green stuff a key to grab hold of and get a nice grip when those go together. Last little bit there, that glue's gone off while I was working on the body, on the torso. Just get a little flash line there that was on the belt. Now again, the tip of the knife has broken away, so it's quite chisel tipped. Didn't break up from my foot, but I'm giving it a little scrape there in that socket, getting rid of the shine. Again, a key for any glue to get a grab hold of. Similar on the torso, couple of scratchy lines, helps things grip. Getting rid of that crap, wiping it on my pinny. God, isn't that useful? Blob of glue. Let that go off. Just having a little look at the position of the guys that I think I'm mimicking with all the parts that I'm putting together here. Doing a little role play. Where are my hands going? I thought about this. I'm making machine gun noises. Of course I am. Pow, 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 pew pew, etc. Remembering the position, twisted with his body weight over his front leg, or what will be his front leg. Just having a little look at that. Am I happy with that? Am I happy with that? Probably. Got a bit of a gap, just got a bit of glue in there. Give it a little tap and it finds its way down into that position. Pop it in the sun, that will help the glue go off. Put that back on so I don't lose it all. Right, sun's gone, got my hoodie on, got chilly in there now. It's winter time doing this. Right, got my smallest pin vise, drilling to pin with the paper clip you can just see in the bottom of the frame. I'm just checking the depth, make sure I don't drill out the front of the guy. Now this super glue is the Gorilla Thicc. I use this stuff because you can put a bit on the pin, it doesn't run away while you're moving it around. I just put some of that in the hole, some of that on the pin, then I know it's definitely in there, giving it a little poke around, and then I trim it. I'm trimming it long, got hold of the paper clip so it doesn't ping off, and again just giving that a little tap, making sure it's nice and square, pokes straight out of his back, and then I'll trim a little bit more off. A little wiggle again, checking it. Now, a little trick I like to do, just for lining things up, dab it with a red Sharpie, black Sharpie, whatever you've got to hand, but I use red in this case because it will show up on the backpack. I've already trimmed a bit of plastic off his back so that that's going to fit nicely. I trimmed a bit of the white metal here with yet another pair of clippers that I've got. They got a blue handle and I only cut metal with them. You saw me cutting the paper clip with those for that purpose, so that I don't ruin either of my better clippers. You don't necessarily need three, but there you go. Different tool for every job. Again, that thick super glue so that it doesn't run off while I'm moving things around. Put the lid on that. Grab that pack again. Now, I'm putting that pack. Oh, hello. There. Right, yeah, back to the job. Getting that pack on, lined up on the pin. You'll see I've got a little ball of blue tack there. That is so that we wedge that model. Once that glue's gone off a little bit, while it sets up, I'm going to prop that guy on the blue tack so that the weight of the lead, white metal, it's not lead, lets it go off. I can put it in a clamp. You might not have clamps, but that blue tack technique, gravity, you've probably got some gravity, there's a lot of it about. Now before the glue's gone off entirely, I get good old bicarb on the handle of my knife, bang some in there. Bicarb activates, I say bicarb, bicarbonate of soda in the kitchen or down the shop. Costs 50p, pound, it's cheap. It kicks off the super glue, activates it, so it makes it go off quicker, but it also acts as like a filling agent. It bulks it up. So I've brushed off the worst of it with a crappy old terrain brush, and then I'm just getting rid of that back in the pot. There we go. So that's setting up, and then I'm going back to the submachine gun because the plastic parts that I glued together earlier have set up nicely. I've got 2-3 different parts of a model. on the go at any one time so that my glue's going off. Just checking up, squaring a few bits, trimming it away, let that again go off while I work on the other bit. A bit of resin from the gun that I made the barrel from, just sanding that flat. I want the bottom flat, so I've put a piece of sandpaper. It's about 240 grit, very fine. Tweak it, nice and lined up. Now I want an ejection port on that little submachine gun, so I'm nicking it off of one of these. I've got my other camera up and running. Battery was playing silly bollocks, there it is. So I've put that part on a blob of blue tack so that I can cut and it won't move around too much and I don't risk my fingers. There's a better angle. So no fingers in the way, it can't go anywhere because I'm pushing onto the table, it's gripping on the blue tack. See where it goes, grab it back. Ordinarily if I'm trimming something, I've got hold of both halves. I don't want to lose the end of my finger, so I do it like that. Pick it up on the end of the knife, slide it into place, and then I'm just using the knife to line it up with the side of the gun. You see, we'll zoom in there, of the ejection port. So the shells have got somewhere to come out. Looking again at the arms. Yeah, so you can see those, these two hands gripping something, and I cut away the block in between, and it makes a really nice shape because it's holding a similar sized object, and now it looks quite natural gripping that magazine sticking out the side of that submachine gun. You see I've got a bit of blue tack under each of those arms. I'm gluing the head in place because that can set up while I work on the other parts. Drilled into the fat bit of the arm and the shoulder. That's why that's down at the bottom. And then on the other side, so that I get a nice meaty bit on the arm, I've drilled more towards the bottom. You can see it's opened up. Again, putting that glue in there, putting that bicarb on, because it acts like a filler and makes for that gap nice and strong. Getting the green stuff. I'm not going to show you a huge amount of this. There's other people doing green stuff tutorials far better than I. Here we go. Tiny bit. That's his nose going on. I'll sculpt that off camera. Yes, I'm using spit. I'm licking the silicone tool and putting that on there, smoothing it out. It's pretty straightforward stuff. He's got a nose, he's got a mohawk, he's got shoulder flesh. Guys are my Chaos squats. Chaos, so their beards are quite chunky and dreadlocked is what I'm looking for. As the green stuff's going off, I scrape a knife down it. There we go, nearly there. I put some ammo packs on his shoulder plate that I trimmed down a little bit, and he looks the part. It looks like he fits in there, stands out a bit with his submachine gun, and they'll all look good when they're all on their 32s. It'll help those lead lads not fall over. Right, bye from the cat and me and my Googly Eyed Skull.